Hi, this is Stephen from Rittenhouse Needlepoint, and we're going to do something kind of off the cuff today. I had a brilliant idea, or what I thought was a brilliant idea, because we had 3 qualified staff members here today and it was kind of quiet. I thought, let's try something. We each pulled threads for a canvas, and we're going to explain why we pulled the threads that we did. And hopefully this will be an instructive kind of thing for you and for us, and we thought we would share it. So the canvas that we pulled for is this piece right here, and our stitcher, the stitcher that we imagined we were pulling for, is kind of an advanced beginner who's looking to start with decorative stitches. So the piece is FL1, and it's one of our own designs, of course. You know, nothing like a little self-promotion, right? And it is called Pink Lily, and the SKU number is 2548, and it retails for $85.25. $85.25. So, let's get started. I chose for the background Very Velvet, which I thought would be, the color number is V252. And I thought that that would provide a nice textural contrast to what I had selected for the flower. And I was thinking that since we're beginning to learn decorative stitches, what better place to start than with the brick stitch, right? So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and Very Velvet will work nicely for that. As for the flower, I selected Splendor because I thought, well, you know, our beginner stitchers probably don't have experience with stranding threads, stripping and laying. And I thought, well, what better time to start than right away? So that's why I chose Splendor. Splendor, of course, is ubiquitous throughout the needlepoint world. And that was why I went with Splendor. And it's a wonderful thread and it's affordable. So I found the closest color matches I could. I did, you know, with silk, you don't really get a bright white, but that's okay because in the flower world, there's no such thing as really a bright white, is there? So it's more of a creamy white, and I'm okay with that because flowers, I don't think really are bright white. So there are those out there who might disagree with me. But so I selected S800 and S924. And then for the, I believe this is called the calyx, or the bottom of the flower here, and for the stamens, I thought it would be fun to do a little padded satin stitch. So I selected DMC Pearl Cotton to do the laying of the stitches underneath, and then I selected Splendor to do the final stitches over the pearl cotton to give a padded satin effect. And I thought that might lend some dimensional quality to the canvas, which I thought would be fun. And then for these dots all over, I thought French knots would be nice, of course, which we could do either in the pearl cotton or in the stranded silk. But to jazz it up just a little bit, because you know you have to have a little sparkle in your needlepoint, I selected some accentuate, which I used color 278. Now, there was a closer match in the bijou in terms of color, but it wasn't sparkly enough. So I went with this accentuate, which has hints of orange and purple and pink. And I thought we could incorporate it into the Splendor, and I don't think I gave the color number, S940 and S1104. I thought we could incorporate some accentuate into the satin stitches that we put into the padded satin to give it a little sparkle. So that should be fun. And I'd love to see somebody actually do this canvas in all of these stitches. So that's my explanation of my thread pull. And now I am going to introduce Holly. She's one of our best staff members here. She's our lead educator, and she is going to talk about why she chose the threads that she chose.
Hello, my name's Holly Axel, and I'm one of the educators at Rittenhouse Needlepoint, and we are pulling for our scrim FL1. This is my take. What I would start with in the background would be some silk and ivory, and I would use color 231 here, and I would put in a bargello stitch, a very simple bargello stitch, and it'll give it a little bit of movement. It's on a single strand, so it'll move quickly and it'll give it a little movement. For the stamens up here, I chose a sparkled suede, and this is Skinny Persuade 03. This way it would give a velvety touch, but it would also give it a little bit of pop. Okay. For the bases of the flowers down here, I picked Baroque silk. This was also a good time to start stranding. So I figured there would be plenty. It gave us a nice sheen, but not too much sparkle. And I would actually just do a basic continental or basket weave stitch for that. Moving on to the petals, I agreed with Stephen, and nothing's pure white as far as we're concerned, but I decided on watercolors by Karen. Now, since this is a 13 mesh canvas, and watercolors is a 3-strand piece, we would remove one of those strands, and then we would flip one strand and the other side so it does not stripe. It'll give us a nice tweed effect above, and it incorporates some of the peach highlights and the greens in there, and I think a Parisian or a mosaic stitch, a very tiny little stitch, would be perfect for that area. Our little highlights here of color, I chose Gloriana Silk. This is one of my favorites. I love this thread due to the fact that it's over dyed. It's not a variegation. So when you get certain highlights every now and then, but it's just a blip of color. It will incorporate the colors from the water colors, and I think it'll bring it in. I went one hue darker for the other area, and I would do an alternating small stitch in some way in the petals. For the little spots, I thought beads would be a good idea. So I chose size 11, color number 5, and with that we're going to use some of our beading thread to match the beads. I think this is a great introductory piece, taking you from beginner to intermediate. We start stranding things, we start blending a little bit, and imagination comes in. I hope you enjoyed this choice, and our next color puller is Janet Jacobs.
Hi, my name's Janet Jacobs. I'm one of the sales associates here, and I'm also pulling for the canvas FL1, the Pink Lily. I found it a little plain, to be honest, so for the background I decided to go with the Bargello, using as a base color, Silk and Ivory color 107, which is called Dill Pickle. but then I wanted to intersperse it, do sort of the long line with Bargello, and then do couch this Cézanne, paint a single loop across to give it some horizontal movement, and I thought that would look really pretty together. For the stems, I chose this dark green by Wildflowers called Black Watch. It's color 140, and I chose it because you probably can't see, but it has this thread of burgundy running through it, and that works with the color I chose for my stamen, this lovely burgundy here, and the beads that I chose for the dots. For flowers, I've started using velvet pretty much universally because most flower petals are sort of dense and velvety. So I chose these 4 colors. I chose 202, which is the white, 261, which is this peachy color, 210, which is the pink, and 254 because I thought it needed a little more than it has. So I would just put those in, and I would use an interlocking goblin, and I would turn the interlocking goblin. So for example, I do this one straight up, probably this one on the diagonal, this one going that way, maybe this one going horizontally, and this one going down that way. I would change it around a bit. So that's how I would do the canvas. Thank you.